think there's a common misunderstanding of what wealth is. And I was victim to this just like everybody else. You think the fancy cars, the houses on the beach, but that's not anything. That is an Instagram story. You could be on the nicest beach in St. Bart's with the wrong person and kids don't talk to you. That's not wealth. That's jail on a really nice beach. I'm sitting right in front of the place right now. Yeah, I'm in Queens. Right where your car was stolen. Yeah, that's where I'm parked right now. Pretty wild being back here, right? So this 5625B, it's kind of fitting. It says, "Welcome to our home," right? So this was home. I've grown up. I mean, that's always like the $64,000 question, right? Started out when I was living in a garden apartment in Queens in Fresh Meadows, right down the block from Francis Lewis High School. Everybody was at the same economic level, which was low, but we didn't know any different. In between the apartments were just like these open areas. And I remember they were doing some construction. There was like this tar on the areas, and we were like literally playing in like tar pits. My parents, they didn't go to college. My dad grew up in the projects. They went right into working. They went right into like, how do we graduate from the projects to this? And they worked their tails off. In our little world is what the American dream is all about. Only about 15% of wealth, of like the wealthiest families, is from inheritance. 85% is first generation. And it's that one family member that becomes the change agent. I wanted to be the change agent for my family and my industry. I wanted to leave my mark. Why do you get into, the financial industry? The reasons why I got in, really for the wrong reasons, because like, all right, this is where you make money and you can have all the stuff, right? I remember working and it was maybe 2 years into the industry. I remember I was trying to learn golf. At the time, I had a very close relationship, with my uncle, who invited me to play with some of his friends. And my uncle was introducing me to the guys, and my uncle looks at me, he's like, that guy Bernard, he's like, everyone at the club has money with him. Like, he's in your industry. And I'm like this wide-eyed kid, I'm like, wow. Fast forward a few years when the financial crisis happened, Bernard, who I met, was actually Bernie.
If you work on a trading desk, stop what you're doing for 1 second.
Bernard Madoff became a household name.
As much as $50 billion is gone, vanished.
It dawned on me at that moment. I was like, you know what? All of these people I've been so intimidated of, if they got swindled by this parasite in the industry, it can happen to anybody. Like from that moment on, I wanted to do something that protects people from the parasites of the world, to actually build something special. But I had like a vision of now like what it could be. I'm like, people really need help. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to business school, and started the foundation of what became Gold Family Wealth. I thought, well, if we can figure out a way to build out a process and a methodology that adopts the positive attributes of the high-level billionaire family office world and package it in a way that wealthy families that might not be billionaires, they might be worth 5, 10 million on the low end to 50, 100, 150 million on the high end, right? But don't have quite enough to have their own family office. What can we do? What can I build that can actually provide a very similar type of experience to get them a very similar type of outcome? I had to start networking really heavily to find the right people. And so it went from legal to tax to investment banking, business brokers, M&A attorneys. Everything that one of our clients, one of the families we work with would need, now we need to have a process to deliver. And so the methodology was really twofold. We have a process and a method. So the process is a matter of, we want to learn every aspect of the client situation, their business, their financial world, their personal relationships, their professional relationships, their real estate holdings, their risk management, everything they're currently doing, and most importantly, everything they want to do. We wanted to make sure that we had a process to identify that what they were currently doing is aligned with what they want to do. And we want to make sure that the planning is flexible, and as things come up, we're addressing them on an ongoing basis, and everything has to be results-based. And so that was our process and our methodology combined with our network, and that is the power of providing true family office, true holistic service and advice. I think there's a common misunderstanding of what wealth is. And my definition is doing what you want, when you want, with who you want. That is my definition of true wealth. And that's really what we do for the families and the clients that we serve. Whatever mark you want to leave, as long as you're leaving it on your terms and it's meaningful, that's really what we want to help people do. So you become the change agent for your family, for your industry, and you leave the mark on the world that you want.